All right. Hey, welcome to Sprout Episode 2, The Backstory. Thanks for hanging out with me. In this episode, I'm just going to share what's going on in our lives currently, keep you guys up to speed. I want to talk real briefly about the vision that kicked off this whole thing, the original vision 25 years ago, and then also point us to Jesus in our last couple of minutes. So first of all, thanks for all these kind words online and all around. It's been so amazing to be just inspired by your faith in what God is doing in and through us with this new venture. A while back, a few nights ago, we did a Q&A night for our home church, just people to bring their questions and offer their thoughts and just kind of process along with us this new vision from God. And it was so amazing. Here's a picture of the gang. Just to have the kind of support from this community has been huge. We hope to do more nights like this, so keep an eye out in the months ahead for some more sort of info nights online and different ways we want to connect with you. So 25 years ago, it's 1995. Go back in time with me a little bit. Vests are popular. My daughter says they're coming back, so we'll see. And I was traveling around with my trunk full of cassette tapes, sharing my songs all over the place. And I would tour through my hometown, Arcata, Eureka, Humboldt County. I was born at St. Joseph's there in Eureka in 1970 on the hottest day of the year. I kind of reconnected with this place. And I was particularly burdened by people who were disconnected from church and disengaged from God. And I had this vision. It just sort of captured me on one of these trips, a vision for a new kind of church that reached out to people that were far from God. A kind of a church that leveraged the passions and the values of the community in Humboldt. Passions like the arts. A church that used the arts in a creative way to show God as the ultimate artist. A church that leveraged the environment, care for the environment to show that God is a one who loves his creation from the very beginning. I imagined a pastor who got out from behind the pulpit regularly and played the bongos on the plaza, or acoustic guitar out there with the gang, or knew his way around a skate park, or someone that was connected in the community with the people. And I imagined a whole team that was postured and positioned to reach out and to care for the community of Humboldt in a special way. And so I wrote down this idea, kind of a radical idea. It was the 90s, and so the Green Party was kind of big, the Green Peace movement, and all that, the protests and everything. And so speaking of like the environmentalism of Humboldt, I came up with this idea, the Green Church, and I kind of wrote this manifesto, the Green Church. What if a church could be like this? And over the years, I started to kind of add to it, just journaling ideas. And I would read books, people would give me books, and traveling around all over the world, really, I saw all sorts of ways to be and do church. And I saw things that I loved and things that I didn't want to do. And I would add to this journal and this idea of a new kind of a church in my hometown. Well, each juncture of my life, I would sort of offer this idea up to God, and we never quite felt that release, that sort of yes to go to do it until a year ago. I'm having coffee with a friend, and I'm sharing with him how next summer we'll be empty nesters, 4 of our kids off and gone to college. And Heidi and I, what's next for us? And kind of praying about that, wondering about that. And my friend said, what's the thing that God's been tapping you on the shoulder about for a long time? What's the thing that just keeps kind of coming up that you keep wondering about and you haven't quite done anything yet about it? What is that thing? And I just knew right away, it's this church plant idea in my hometown of Arcata, this new kind of church. And he said, you got to do it. You got to explore this idea. You got to take some steps. And so that's what we did. Now, that led up to where we are now, and that's another story for next time. But I wonder, have you ever carried a vision in your heart, an idea? Have you ever seen an idea in your mind that wasn't done yet, but you thought it needed to be done, and you thought maybe you're the person to do it? We've been told that church planting is one of the hardest things we're ever going to do. Well, Jesus himself had a mission that he had to carry. He had a mission from the beginning, and it was fraught with difficulty. I mentioned in the last episode about Hebrews 12:2. how Jesus is the one we can fix our eyes on. We can look to him because he's the author and the perfecter of our faith. Well, in that same sentence in Hebrews 12:2, the next sentence, it says this: "For the joy set before him, he endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God." For the joy set before him, he endured the cross. He knew the struggle, he knew the pain, he knew the difficulty ahead, but it says there was joy. What joy? For Jesus, it was the joy of knowing this confidence in his mission, that his death, his burial, his resurrection would bring you and I life and connection to God. Maybe you have a vision and an idea in your heart that you feel could be difficult, maybe challenging. You know it's the right thing. Maybe you've tried to step out in something you know and feel confident this is the right thing, but it's difficult and challenging. I want to remind you that there is joy on the other side. There's joy on the other side of doing the right thing. There's joy on the other side of following God. There's joy on the other side of stepping out in faith. And so let's hold that joy. Let's keep that joy in view together as we step out. I'm so grateful for just how you guys have leaned in with us near and far, online, all around, and we're so encouraged and inspired by you. And so let's stick into this together. Follow along with us. Make sure to like us and subscribe and friend us in all those online platforms. Let's join together as we see what God's going to do.